All right, everybody. We got a returning special guest for you all this week. Everybody, welcome back, Blake McCarthy. What's happening, Blake?
Not much. Thank you guys for having me back. I appreciate you
Yeah,
bringing me back on and all the support you've been giving Territory. So it's fun, always fun coming and talking with you guys.
of course, yeah, and we love to have you back when we, extend the invite every interview. So we thanks for coming back. And I know every issue comes out for Territory. You want to talk about it and talk about all the goodies that you have packed in the Kickstarter. So let's just talk about really quick where the story of Territory, and then where you're gonna go with issue 3.
Definitely. So yeah, just kind of overall, kind of a quick summary of the first couple issues for people who aren't familiar. Is it's a post-apocalyptic kaiju book, and basically they're in this far distant post-apocalyptic future, and people have kind of been reduced to living in tribes again, and kind of a very primal kind of lifestyle, and they worship these kaiju that have popped up as gods. And so the first two issues are really focused on kind of this one tribe, this one character, Alkia, and the Great Horn, which is this beast you see behind me here,
Nice,
which
nice.
is the kaiju, and that's the kaiju her tribe worships. And then in the second issue, they go on a kind of a sacred pilgrimage where you see the Great Horn battle another kaiju. And this all happened in the past. And then as they're coming back from that pilgrimage for the third issue, they've when they get back to their home, it's been destroyed, and there's evidence of another kaiju battle between the Great Horn and a new one. And so this third issue is the most fun one to write
Okay,
because it's got the most kaiju action out of any of the
nice,
issues, and so
nice.
that was really fun to do. That was um, wanting to do a kaiju book, like that's the most fun part, and so really getting to dive into that. And it's pretty much from the start of the issue all the way through for this one that there's kind of a big kaiju battle going on amongst other things. So if you're a fan of just the kaiju action, definitely want to check this one out. And then it also, so the first two kind of establish the religion, kind of show, you know, how you've got a character who is born and raised very devoutly to this religion, and that's kind of all she's known. And now, as she's starting to grow and experience new things, and as she's interacting with the Great Horn more, and it interacts with other kaiju, that kind of shakes her faith a little bit. And so we start to see how she reacts to that. And this issue really kind of um, it I won't spoil the ending, but it sets up kind of a big decision for her as to how she's going to kind of deal with her faith going forward and what she's going to believe, and just kind of sets her up for her personal journey as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm always pumped for more kaiju fighting each other.
Yes,
That's all
it's,
I
it's
needed to
always
hear.
yeah. I mean, it's always the most fun part, right? Like, you don't back a kaiju book if you don't get to see some monster smashing stuff. So
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Exactly.
Uh, yeah, and I know Chris and I have been huge fans of all the different variant covers and goodies that you've done with the Kickstarters. So can we expect to see that with issue 3? Or I guess it's, as the recording releases, it's out now. But talk about that a little bit.
yeah, so definitely, I've been very lucky with the variant covers and the artists I work with so far. I feel like this issue is no exception. We've got Martha Womersley returning again, which I think I mean, she's like I've said before, as long as she wants to keep drawing covers for this, I will keep having her draw covers
Yeah,
for this
Martha's
because
covers are insane.
yes, and they're so unique too. She uses this crazy neon color palette, and she's got a very distinct style. So she really captures the essence of the kaiju, but it looks differently than kind of any other artist's interpretation of it. And it's this really cool, stylized neon, totally different take on the kaiju, while also feeling very true to kind of what we were going for. So she has another cover of the newest kaiju, which is called the Model Ishiki, which is so it's this kind of serpentine desert looking kaiju. It's very reptilian. It's very sinister looking. It's got fangs, claws, and it's by far the most evil looking kaiju we've got, while still having kind of that natural animalistic feel. And so she did a great job with that. And then one other really cool kind of a couple new artists got to work with for variant covers. So this one had two people collaborating. It was Flops Comics and Leone O'More. So Leone actually drew the cover, and then Flops kind of did the design. And the reason for that being it's a retro tribute cover to the original Godzilla Marvel comic, the debut
Okay.
issue, which
Nice.
came out in like '77, I want to say. And so Leone drew this really great kind of tribute cover with the Great Horn and Alkia and the characters in the foreground, and kind of change some of the buildings and stuff to look more like the territory world. And then I don't know if you're not familiar with Flops, he specializes in kind of retro comic design. He does do some illustration, but he's also just really good at he does corner boxes, really good at capturing kind of that old retro vintage kind of golden age feel, and then as well as just using layers and stuff to make it look more retro. And it came out amazing. It really looks like something that would have, come out around the '70s, and it captures the essence and the feel
That's
of
awesome.
the OG Godzilla cover, while also, really showing the Great Horn and the characters really well. So I think that'll be one that we haven't really done like a full tribute like that, and I think that's one that'll people will really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Very
So
cool.
now I have to get two covers, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Well, and then
I think Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, and then there is one more. Chris Sassman, the artist, the main artist on the book, the artist who did the main cover, also did another one, kind of a more minimalistic one. So with the main cover for this book, you get this kind of action shot of the Great Horn and the Model-ishki fighting, because we really wanted to showcase the kaiju for the cover in this one, because we hadn't done that in any previous covers for the main cover. And but then he did a variant where you get kind of the sinister eyes from this new kaiju in the background, and Alkia is holding up her bow, and some people are reaching up to it. So you get kind of the religious feel to it with the kaiju in the background. It feels very ominous, very tribal, and I think it's it's a very cool feel that's very different from the main cover of the book. So it gives people some options as far as which one they want to do.
Very cool. Yeah, like Chris said, I'm going to buy a couple probably, because I think last time I did there was like an anime style or manga style one,
Mm-hmm.
and with Martha's cover too. I was like, yeah, I can't say no to these.
Yeah, and honestly, like, that's one thing I've really enjoyed doing, is the variant covers, just because getting to build the world is cool, but then seeing other artists' interpretation of it and getting to adapt it to different styles. Like the manga, is totally unique, and this retro variant is going to be totally unique. And so,
Yep.
being able to see this world through different lenses is really cool, because it makes it, I think it makes it feel a little deeper, and it's not just oh, this is territory. It's like territory is a story that can be kind of seen and told some different ways, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing some different interpretations is really fun.
Yeah, I agree. And I know you're going to continue to plan this out, right? Was it 6 issues for the first arc, or do you know yet?
So yeah, so it was originally 6 issues, but it's actually going to end up being 5. So with the second issue, the first issue had no editor, and then the second issue, Nicole DeAndrea came on board as an editor, and she's been great. And I feel like the second issue read a lot better than the first one due to her, editorial skills, pacing, storytelling. She's very good at that. And as we kind of looked at the overall story, we realized that you could. I think it's 5 books will be more impactful, and it will flow better and be more exciting. Because I have 6 written, but they kind of drag out at points. So we're going to combine parts of a couple of them, and cut it down to 5 books. So the first arc and really the whole story I have in mind will be told in 5 books.
Interesting. Great.
Cool. So I want to go back to the covers real quick. As we're recording this, we haven't seen the Kickstarter's not live as we're recording this. My favorite part of your Kickstarters thus far is looking to see what the Mars variant's going to be, or the Martha's variant's going to be. And because I like to throw things out there that I want to happen, I think the coolest thing for like when you do the trade would be to do like a poster getting all of her covers on one like image.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I
Hmm.
agree, and especially because it's kind of cool because the first three have been different kaiju each time. So getting it, and that's actually one of the rewards I'm doing for this Kickstarter is for people who haven't been able to get her covers in the past. Is there will be a bundle you can get the first three issues her covers
Oh, cool.
on it. So just for people that like it, just really being able to get all of her stuff. But I agree. I think I'm gonna try to work with her as much as possible and use her artwork as much as possible because it's one of my favorite parts about the how all this has come together so far. And I think a lot of people have really dug it. So definitely, I'll be trying to incorporate stuff like that in the future.
Have you
Awesome.
thought past issue 5 at all to see, like, is there more to this world you want to explore, or are you kind of set on doing these 5 and then maybe moving on to a different story?
So I've definitely thought past it, and I so this story has a pretty definitive ending, and that being said, I have other ideas for other stories in this world, but I wouldn't call them necessarily like sequels. It would be more, kind of other areas that's going on in the same world, but with kind of a new set of characters in the same world. I've got one story in particular that I do plan on writing out at some point, just because I think it would really kind of take a lot of the themes that I've written here and take them to the next level, while also being a new interpretation of it. It wouldn't just feel like more of the same. It would be more territory, but with some different a different take on it. And then that being said, I do plan on doing a different story first. I have another series that I'd like to work on after I finish issue 5. I'd like to get issue 5 done and get a trade out there, and then I have another series I want to start working on. But I could definitely see I would like to somewhere down the line work on at least one more story in the territory world, whether it's comes out as kind of a sequel or just a new story set in the same world.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I know I'm pumped to read the rest of the issues. And yeah, and as we're talking now, the Kickstarter will be live. But where can we send our listeners and our viewers to follow you and what you're doing, Blake?
So still, Kickstarter obviously, and then Twitter and Instagram. I mostly communicate through Twitter. I do try to post stuff on Instagram, especially a lot of the new art and everything, and do little previews and stuff there. Both of the both of my tags are the same. It's just at BMC Comics on both Twitter and Instagram. So Twitter would be the most up to date info, but Instagram will give you kind of a good idea of the visuals and a lot of the big news as it comes out.
Okay, great, awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. And to all the listeners out there, we will have links in the show notes to the Kickstarter. So make sure to check the book out. We've been telling you left and right to check it out. You got to go do
Yep,
it.
you got to do it.
We love this book. So, Blake, thanks so much for joining us again, man. Best of luck with the Kickstarter. I know it's a stressful time, but I'm sure you're going to kill it. And we look forward to the next time we chat, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. And curious to hear what you have to say about this one.
Yeah, for sure. Can't wait.